I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, March the 16th, 2016. Israeli border police officers arrested a Palestinian teenage boy this morning after finding a knife on him at a security checkpoint. The 14-year-old was trying to avoid the checkpoint while leaving the Shuafat refugee camp in East Jerusalem. Officers found he was in possession of a knife, and he reportedly admitted that he had planned to carry out a terror attack. Last night, IDF forces working together with Israel police discovered a workshop for firearms production in the village of Sawara near the Etzion block in the West Bank. 3 men were arrested, and the weapons, which included an MP5 rifle, a handgun, and large quantities of ammunition, were confiscated. U.S. President Barack Obama has named Merrick Garland as his nominee to the Supreme Court. Garland, who is Jewish, is currently the chief judge of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia. He would fill the Supreme Court seat held by Antonin Scalia, who died last month. If confirmed, Garland would be the 4th Jewish justice on the nation's highest court, joining Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Elena Kagan, and Stephen Breyer.
And for me, there could be no higher public service than serving as a member of the United States Supreme Court. My family deserves much of the credit for the path that led me here. My grandparents left the Pale of Settlement at the border of Western Russia and Eastern Europe in the early 1900s, fleeing anti-Semitism and hoping to make a better life for their children in America. I am grateful beyond words for the honor you have bestowed upon me.
Israel's President Reuven Rivlin arrived last night in Moscow and today met with Russian President Vladimir Putin at the Kremlin. The two held a brief press conference before the meeting where Putin said Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu would also be visiting soon. In their meeting today, the two were said to discuss Russian actions in regards to the conflict in Syria and threats of the Islamic State. The U.S. State Department expressed concern yesterday over Israel's reclassifying several hundred acres of land in the Jordan Valley to Israeli state land. State Department spokesman John Kirby said the move by Israel was an expropriation of land that undermines the prospects for a two-state solution. The mostly empty desert lands reclassifications by Israel will not alter the land's use. However, it does open the door for possible development in the future. The Times of Israel reports, citing reports from French news agency AFP and others, that a special court in France will try the brother of Mohamed Merah for complicity in the attacks in Toulouse in 2012 that left 7 people dead, including a rabbi and 3 children at a Jewish school. Merah's brother Abdelkader had initially denied knowing anything about his brother's plans. Argentina's President Mauricio Macri addressed a gathering of Jewish leaders from around the world last night in Buenos Aires and promised there would be progress made on the investigation into the 1994 bombing of the Jewish center in the city that killed 85 people. Macri delivered his remarks at the opening of the plenary assembly of the World Jewish Congress, being held this week for the first time ever in Latin America. World Jewish Congress President Ronald Lauder thanked Macri for his pledge and said the Jewish people trusted the president would deliver. Lauder also said it was no accident that the WJC chose the Argentine capital city for the assembly. He said the 1994 attacks, as well as the attack on the Israeli embassy in Buenos Aires 2 years prior that left 29 people dead, will be at the center of discussion. Tomorrow, March the 17th, delegates from the assembly will attend a ceremony on the 24th anniversary of the embassy attack. A postage stamp honoring Holocaust hero Nicholas Winton went on sale yesterday at post offices across Great Britain. If you recall, the Royal Mail approved the stamp among its new releases this year, which honor some of the UK's greatest humanitarians and their achievements. Winton, referred to as the British Schindler, organized the rescue of 669 children from Czechoslovakia to Britain, saving them from the Nazi death camps. Winton died last year at the age of 106. Over 100,000 people had signed a petition to bestow the honor upon Winton in a campaign organized by the UK's Jewish News. And taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, March the 16th. At 7:30, the work of American Jewish sculptor Max Finkelstein is in focus. At 8 o'clock, Jewish feminist Eva Fogelman, who was a pioneer in the 70s Jewish feminism movement, and Sharon Weiss Greenberg, the current executive director of the Jewish Orthodox Feminist Alliance, talk about the 3 waves of Jewish feminism at Limud, New York 2016. Then at 9, Mark Golub sits down with one of America's pioneering feminists, Letty Cotton Pogrebin, on L'chaim, who talks about her personal Jewish journey and her view of Jewish life today. At 10 o'clock, a look at the United Nations Human Rights Council, and coming up right after this newscast tonight at 6:30, Thinking Out Loud with Micah Halpern. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, March the 16th, 2016. I'm Teisha Bader.